Hey, this is Dr. Keith Hersey, and you are listening to the Destroying Diabetes podcast. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Keith Hersey, and I'm glad that you're here today. And this is the Destroying Diabetes podcast, and I'm so thankful for all of the people that tune in, that either listen or look at us on YouTube and follow us. I really appreciate all the support. So keep all the emails coming. We have the email address herseyhealthhelp@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you have any issues that you would like for us to address in future episodes, or any questions about anything from our guests or type 2 diabetes in general, I'm glad to answer it. And like I said, I answered all the emails. I don't have a staff to answer it for me. So if you send it to the email, it goes directly to me, and I will address that when as soon as I'm receiving and able to respond to it. Um, and again, I'm just grateful to have the opportunity, and I appreciate all of the support that I get. And like I said, I'm still looking for that first international email. I still haven't gotten one from outside the U.S. yet. So if you're outside the U.S. listening to this podcast, please send me an email just to acknowledge that you're listening, so I can say I have an international audience, not just a national audience. And I have a national audience, so this would be an international audience, so I can add that on to it. I'm so grateful today for my guest, Jasmine Canady. She's just wonderful. She is another person that I met at the State of Diabetes conference that we had in Durham, North Carolina, last month, and it was just such a pleasure to meet her. And when I was there and got to hear her story, I was like, I got to try to have her on the podcast, because she is someone that is just full of just energy, full of just like wisdom, for her health journey. And I think it's something that's inspirational. And like I was telling her, I think we need all could use a little inspiration before, especially when we get ready to go into the holidays and all of the things that go into that. And I know it's kind of stressful on everybody, but especially us type 2 diabetics trying to manage and work through that. So basically, so first I would like Jasmine, if you wanted to introduce yourself and kind of give a little bit about your background and how you started talking about type 2 diabetes.
Okay. Well, first things first, good evening, everybody. My name is Jasmine Canady. I'm a type 2 diabetic ever since the age of 14, dating back to 2009 when I was diagnosed. Former collegiate basketball player, former coach as well too, winning coach that is as well too. I'm a speaker, motivational speaker. I speak on wellness as well too, which has allowed me to cross the paths with Dr. Keith here as well. And just full of life and thankful to be here. I've got a host of siblings, a beautiful wife, a dog who is a baby but not a baby, a host of nieces and nephews, and just glad to be here and glad to be full of life. Honestly, on my 9 to 5 perspective, I work as a substance use preventionist. That also gives me the opportunity to inspire and motivate the Marines of our nation, as well too down here in North Carolina. And so that's the first part of your question. I do believe, I hope I answered that full and through. Secondly is what started my journey. What started my journey was a diagnosis. That's where the actual journey began. But the victory didn't start until the consequences came through. So it took for me to actually and what that looked like for me, because again, being diagnosed at 14 years old, mind you, now I've always played basketball.
Mhm.
Like played basketball from the time I was 4 years old and on up. And so never really had a sedentary lifestyle, saying from a active lifestyle standpoint. And so live my life like an 18-year-old, 19, 20-year-old would. But the thing that I tell people is I was diagnosed in 2009, but I was never treated. I was never educated. I didn't know how to live my life as a type 2 diabetic. And so that led me to a life of mismanagement and misbehaving too. You know what I'm saying? And misbehaving too. But it's because I wasn't never really taught on, okay, the proper education that we need today. Like, hey, you do need to eat this, but not too much of that. Fruits are good, but you as a diabetic, you might want to stay away from these fruits. You might not want to have a bowl full of grapes. You might not want to have a bowl full of pineapples. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the proper education. So that's where my journey started. My journey started when I was diagnosed, but never more so treated. But the journey of victory that you see me today, living it today, it started when I pretty much went blind due to diabetic retinopathy.
Oh man, when did that happen?
December 2022. What
Oh,
happened? I'm glad you asked. So I'm literally sitting in my office, just like how you and I are sitting right now. And out of nowhere, I see something fly across my eye. And I'm like, what just took place? Now, mind you, now, I'm literally, this is no tales told. I'm digging in my ear because my ear starts itching out of nowhere.
mm,
Funny thing.
mm,
I'm digging in my ear just like how we would. I mean, I'm digging too. The next thing you know it, I open my eyes and something is just flying across my eye. And the first thing I do, I try to blink. I try to move my eyes around and I'm like, okay, this thing ain't going nowhere. What is this? I'm trying to swat. I mean, imagine walking by my office and I'm just sitting here just
oh man,
just
oh
swatting.
man.
And so after it doesn't disappear, and I'm coaching at the time, I'm coaching varsity girls basketball at a very high level.
Mm,
At the time, we were number 3 in the conference, so
um,
we're in the heap of things. And so I called my eye doctor, and I said, "Listen, I don't know what's going on, but you need to come. You need to see me." So he gets me in about a week later, and he does all the tests, does all the X-ray. He said, "Miss Kennedy, there's really nothing I can do for you. I have to send you to a retina specialist." I said, "Okay." And that's when I was diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy, only for it to get worse as time went on until eventually about 2024 of last year in August, I lost complete sight in my right eye.
mm,
That eventually, led to
mm.
surgery. So
So are you able to have full vision now or?
full vision ever since that day. And it's crazy because the retinopathy started in my left eye. So I guess my right eye got jealous.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it wasn't getting enough attention because my right eye ended up becoming the worst eye
Mm,
and ended up being the eye that I had to get operated on.
mm,
And to this day, because for years, my A1C was an average 10.5, easy, minimum. And I stand before you today with the A1C of a 5.1.
oh wow, that is definitely a testimony.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely,
definitely a testimony.
for
So
sure.
so did type 2 diabetes, did it run in your family when you were like 14? Did
Yes, my mother, my grandmother. So I always tell the funny story. Diabetes runs in my family because I'm probably the first one in my family to run. So, yes, it runs in my family, and but I try not to focus on that because you have to think about what also runs in the family.
Yeah,
Eating habits,
yeah,
the cultures,
yeah,
like I stated at the symposium, nutrition and survival don't always go hand in hand.
yeah, yeah,
So that's why these things keep, running in the family,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely like that. And then like I said that the biggest thing that and you talked about it when I saw you in your talk as well is that where the education level is not that great for type 2 diabetes. That
No.
we're not, we're not like taught, like people are just like just give you a basic diagnosis and like, well, just eat right, cut down on sugar, and exercise. So,
Again, where
yeah,
do we start with that? It sounds so basic, but again, when you're living in a life of survival, right? Again, you're looking for food that spreads.
yeah,
And what are some of the foods that spread? Rice, cereal, grits,
mhm,
eggs, mashed potatoes, oodles and noodles. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
yeah,
So those foods are cheap, easy on the dollar, and they spread, but they don't have the greatest nutritional value. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we talk about, like, we're getting away from the word diet. It's a lifestyle. Diet is more so short term,
yeah,
right? Like, they don't speak lifestyle language to us.
yeah, yeah,
Like, hey, heavy on the proteins. These are your proteins.
mhm,
These are your fats. These are your carbs. These are your processed carbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, really
yeah,
breaking that stuff down. Okay, these are your net carbs. This is how much fiber is to your body, how important fiber is to your body.
yeah,
Like, you don't get that educational, transactional conversation in those doctor's offices.
mhm,
They ask you how have you been eating, and you tell them whatever it is that you want to tell them, and
yeah,
they say, okay, that's good, or hey, you might want to try to do this, try to do that. 30 minutes later, they hand you your checkout slip and they say, I see you in 3 months.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
need any more refills?
yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely they do that. So what was the day that for you to go from a A1C from you said over 10 to almost half of that? What steps did you take or you want to relay to our audience that's people that may be in a similar situation where they have the double digit A1C and the that Tylenol medications and seems like their health condition is worsening each time they go to the prescriber.
I'm going to keep it real and honest. What took for me is the cost of the consequence, the cost of the compound consequence. Just like you have compound interest,
Mhm.
there was a compound consequence because me not being able to see, um, I couldn't be what I need to be for others. Like in my family, I'm the driver. I drive my nieces around, nephews, mom, dad, like I'm the Uber driver in my family.
Mm, right.
Whenever me and my family want to spend time with each other and we just go out for a drive because that was one of the things that we started doing during COVID because there was nothing else to do. And I realized, oh, we can't do those things anymore. It's not that we couldn't, but it just didn't feel the same.
Yeah,
And you know what I'm saying? Didn't feel the same because this isn't what we do.
yeah,
So I was removed from my normal. That's one. And for two, it was a daily, let me tell you something. Having that blood in your eyes, and I'm not figuratively speaking.
mhm,
You could look at me right now and not even tell that my eye internally is pretty much like a lava lamp. But I knew. So that was a constant reminder of how bad the consequence was. And there was a constant fear because I'm over here thinking, like, okay, I only have one good eye left. What if that eye goes bad? You know, what if that eye goes bad? And then on, I'm in a heap of trouble. And so the consequence was so great. And so from then on, I had to take ownership. So there was a consequence and I had to take ownership. So a lot of things can be true. Yes, I wasn't proper educated. No, I didn't have, the right tools to be successful all these years. But there was also a great amount of negligence on my part. So I had to do some accountability and I had to take ownership, and I had to care enough and be consistent. And I had to go out and get my own education about what I could eat, what I could not eat, and actually take my medicine how I'm supposed to. So all those things, because a lot of times us type 2 diabetes, and I'm gonna talk on myself, we just depend on the medicine to do everything, especially this time of the year. We go get that extra piece of cake and say, "Oh, I'll just take some extra insulin." Or like that's what the metformin's for, right? We
yeah,
lean we lean on the medication, but meanwhile, it's our choices that ultimately affect our outcomes. So I just really had to start taking ownership of my choices consistently. Not just one meal, not just one day, but every meal to me was another opportunity to gain my life back. So I had to lose my sight in order to gain the vision for my life, honestly.
Hey, that's deep there. You know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
almost
for
lose your
real.
sight to gain your vision.
Hey, listen, the
Hey,
keynote is coming.
oh
Okay,
yeah.
the keynote is coming. The keynote is coming. But that's honestly, and it wasn't like I had to get into the gym and, get a trainer. No. All it takes is small steps make great distances. You take enough small steps, I promise you, you'll go a long way. And it took me probably 4 months, 4 months and a whole bunch of eye injections and a surgery and laser. But that's what it took. 30-minute walks, sometimes 45-minute walks. Like it doesn't take a great investment,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's one of the things with the clients that I work with all the time. My emphasis is that I coach is that just small, like small steps that they added together can go like a long way. That's why
Mhm.
I always say just concentrate on completing the small steps, not so much on the long-term journey, because if you continue to complete the small steps, when you look back on your journey, you'll see how far that you've come. But concentrate on the small steps. Like I said, most people, I tell when we talk about, I discuss like physical activity. I don't say like exercise. I say like physical activity and get moving. Our bodies are made
Language
to move.
matters.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
bodies
language
are made.
matters.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
bodies are made to move. So
yeah,
just like movement. Like I said, like most things, like I tell everybody that you can find something that you can use. Like I said, walking is accessible to me. I used to run until my knees couldn't allow me to do it anymore. But
yeah,
walking is a big thing for me, and it does such things because now you get to exercise. For me, it helps give me a chance to clear my mind as well.
same,
So it's just
same.
good on just the physical and the mental aspect. So
Yeah,
and you can do a lot, like I said, and it's not and it's not cost prohibitive, so
yeah,
anybody can get out and just find you and just have some good pair of shoes on and just go walking, and just making, like I said, making those changes. And did you make any changes as far as food or anything like that?
so this is what I also tell people because, when it comes to food, there's a relationship there, right? And so a lot of times when people hear diet or lifestyle change, they hear sacrifice, right? They feel like they're giving up something, right? And so when it comes to diet or, what you consume in your body, you're not sacrificing. It's just substituting.
Yeah.
You're substituting. There's a whole bunch of carbless or low carb noodles out there for those pasta lovers. There's or my rice lovers, you have rice cauliflower. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I had rice cauliflower for the first time, made like fried rice,
Hmm.
and I was eating it, and I was like, "Now I know this ain't rice, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not enough difference for me to complain about it. But I know
Yeah.
this, I know
Yeah.
this ain't rice." But it was so good, and you'll be surprised. But again, you just have to take the time. And as much stuff is out there now, social media, only thing you have to do is look something up once, and now it's on your algorithm,
Yeah.
right? It's on
Yeah.
your timeline next. And so now we're force fed what we seek, you know? And so honestly, those were the only changes. Like it did start with the keto, lifestyle. But now it's just more low carb. Like I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, I was never a big bread, sweets eater. Like I've never really been dealing with obese,
Mhm.
but it was just about, okay, I know I love burgers. So how can I eat a burger without the consequences? Wrap them in lettuce or get you some keto sandwich stands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I will go, and it takes for you to be demanding. When you go out to eat, I don't care if you don't like the fact that I'm asking for what I need. If I only want 3 hush puppies on my plate, then that's what I expect. I don't want the whole half a
Yeah.
dozen. I just
Yeah.
want 3 hush puppies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it takes for you to get again, a big part was getting that education first.
Yeah.
Again, how to read a label.
Yeah.
Okay, what is keto? What is low carb? Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between this bun? It's the same brand, but what's the difference between that bun and that bun?
Yeah.
Without focusing so much on the taste, because I promise you, it's more stuff out there that you won't even be able to taste the
Yeah.
difference,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Especially, yeah. And then especially a lot of times with people I work with is that um like a lot of times the seasoning and the type of seasoning that you use is important. And then a lot of things like you said that you can season things in a way that you can barely tell the difference between that and another thing. So, like I said, like I said, and there's just so all sorts of substitute swaps plans that are out there. You just have
Mhm,
to find something that works with you and works within you know within like your budget. And I know that sometimes people tell me like, well, sometimes those stuff is a little more expensive, but is it really? Because a lot of times when you have the bad processed food, it tends to cause you to overeat. So you're eating more, and that's kind of negating the difference in the price. But if you got something that's going to be, healthy for you and keep your blood sugar levels under control, then that's worth way more than whatever, yeah,
yeah.
I say like they always say like health is wealth. And so that, you know, it's definitely worth it. And a lot of the changes, a lot of minors, and now there's so many products that are available now that's kind of brought the cost down on a lot of things too.
Mhm,
And there's a lot of things. Like I said, there's a lot of seasonings that are relatively inexpensive that you can use. Like I said, I mean, I'm a big person like too with like cauliflower rice and cauliflower uh, buns and things like that. That when you get down to it and you have the thing, a lot of times, there's like, the difference is minimal and it's not a huge difference in taste or sacrifice in
mhm.
that. So, yeah, so that's definitely like a big thing that we have to try to enforce. And like I said, that in the health system that, that if we had better communication, if we had, I think like, now that when people are diagnosed, even pre-diabetes, before they even get in diabetes, it should be accompanied with like a nutritionist,
Instead of a
just,
prescription.
yeah, yeah,
Instead of a prescription, so it's like you're already treating me as though I'm already diagnosed, but you said something that sparked. We're always counting the cost, but we're counting the cost for the wrong thing. When it comes to our health being wealth, that's because we're seeing the value in our health. You gotta ask yourself, okay, that season that may not cause bloating, it might cost a little bit more, but guess what? A copay costs too.
yeah, yeah,
A copay costs too, you know what I'm saying? And nowadays you got to have that copay before you even get into the office.
yeah,
So
yeah,
again, choose your cause. What is it going to cost? But don't start asking yourself, instead of what's the cost, instead, what's the value?
yeah,
What's the,
exactly,
what's the value?
exactly,
What's the value? What's the value of feeling good? What's the value of waking up one day without inflammation?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So you got to see the value in it. And honestly, Doc, I saw the value of my changes.
yeah, yeah,
Like, it made a great big difference, and it just came from perspective. Everyone's journey is different. Somebody may be going through neuropathy,
yeah,
or amputation, you know what I'm saying? But I advise anybody, you don't want none of them issues.
yeah, you don't.
You don't want none of them issues. I'm going through open enrollment right now, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, do I got enough? Can I afford to get enough taken out of my check to cover my monthly expenses, you know what I'm saying, that have came from my choices,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know? So it's not hard, it's not sacrificing, it's substituting.
mhm.
It's something out, it's a healthier choice for everything that you love. Even sweets. They got keto brownies now,
Yeah.
made by Duncan Hines. This
Oh,
is not a sponsorship, by the way. This
yeah,
is not an
yeah,
ad.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying, like, they have something for everybody. So If you feel like you don't have any options, that's because you have a mouthful of excuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
it. That's all. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's all. Like, seriously, there's too much stuff out there, especially now. Now, back in the day, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
weren't seeing protein zucchini noodles.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We weren't seeing shirataki noodles
Yeah.
and,
So yeah.
all that stuff like that back in the day. So I'll give you that for all my baby boomers out there.
Okay.
But
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
millennials and up, you don't have no
No.
excuse.
No. No. You don't. You don't. Well, I guess the thing is nobody now because everybody has access to the same kind of information. So,
And there you said it.
but,
There
but
you
I,
equity. There you go. There you
yeah.
go.
And I really appreciate you coming on today, Jasmine. And I want you, like, with our last couple of minutes, if you wanted to say something directly to the person that's, say, if they're pre-diabetic and they're worried about going into type 2 diabetes, or they've had type 2 diabetes and their condition is getting worse, the A1C is continuing to go up. They're worried about, losing a limb. They're worried about going into like needing a new kidney or going blind or severe neuropathy where they just have, pain, so much pain where they're not able to walk. If you wanted to say something like directly to our people and our listeners and people that are in our audience that may be under that thing and they may feel kind of discouraged, you can get them like a last word for them.
Oh man. First things first, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Ask yourself, if you're not able to walk, can you do this? Can you move your limbs? Can you move your arms? So that's first things first. What can you do? And start small. Pick that one thing. Okay. If you can't focus on physical activity, everything is mostly about nutrition. You eat every single day. And your choices are your outcomes are calculations of your choices. Every meal is a choice. Take some of them starches off. Add protein, fiber. Switch out some of them sodas for zero sugar. Again, you're not giving up anything. You're not giving up anything. But what you're doing is you're stepping up for yourself because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to give it the best shot that you got because your health is worth it. Your health is worth it because if you don't have your health, then you can't go out and fulfill the purpose that you have on this earth. And I learned that through my journey. There were other people tied to my dreams. There were other people counting on me to show up as my best self. But I owed it to me first because if I couldn't give it to myself first, then who could I serve outside of myself first? So it's not a sacrifice, it's just a substitute. And it's an investment. Count the real cost. Ask yourself today, if I felt my best self, what would I be doing? And what does it take in between? Just switch out some of them choices. It's all about the choices that we make. Whether they're informed choices or not. We all hold a gadget in our hands all day, every day, and we have the same 24 hours. If you know about somebody else's business, then guess what? You got time to educate yourself. Ask the right questions and do the real work. Do the real work. And I guarantee you, after a while, it's not going to be hard. There's going to be fulfillment. Once
Yeah.
you get past the difficulty and the challenge, oh, there's going to be purpose. There's going to be joy. And there's going to be a testimony. So you owe you and give yourself the best shot that you can. Now go be great.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll just say, like, if I had a fan, I would just have the fan going. I say, Amen. Oh, yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah, that's all I
Absolutely, man.
deserve.
You
Yeah,
know,
That's the thing. I don't need to say anything else. I had to sign off here. But I really appreciate you, Jasmine, for coming in and talking with us. I hope that I definitely will encourage people to listen to this episode as much as you need to. Pass it along to if you have a family or friend or someone that's going through it with type 2 diabetes. It is a challenge. We both know that as being type
Mhm.
2 diabetics, and it's ongoing, and it's and a lot of times people may be silent about what they're going through because they feel uncomfortable. They may not want people to know about their condition because people where unfortunately people are conditioned that type 2 diabetes is something that because you didn't do something right, or you didn't do something necessarily like, you didn't do something good enough, or you didn't, and people
Yeah.
feel a lot of guilt with that. And we just want you to know that we're with you. We know how challenging it can be, but,
Mhm.
but we can move forward. It's like Jasmine, that, you just, you gotten your health under control. You went from nearly losing your sight to having your vision fully restored, to have your A1C cut in half. Basically, that's just amazing. And I'm
And
really
peep this,
just
doc. The doc asked me, did he want me to prescribe a pill to increase my blood sugar?
Mhm.
Imagine that.
Oh
That's
yeah, I know that's the thing, to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. That like I said, that is definitely a great
Yeah.
testimony. And like I said, I'm so glad that you came by. I'm so
Thank you for
glad
having me, sir.
that we were able to have you guests, and we have to have you back, because I know that we're going to get a lot of great feedback from. I may have to bring you back at the beginning of the year when everybody is doing all their resolutions.
Oh, Lay, let's go. Hey, if you want to do a challenge, let's go.
Okay.
Like I know they need encouragement, because it's a thing, it's definitely a challenge and especially when we're used to what we're used to.
Yeah, yeah.
Change is uncomfortable, but I promise you on the other side of that challenge is the champion side of you waiting. That's it.
Okay. All right. Yep, that's it.
Yep.
So, like I said again, Jasmine, thank you for coming today. And like I said, we will definitely have. I mean, I know I just stand right here that this will probably be one of our biggest podcasts, and I anticipate all the emails and things that I'll get. And I'll be glad for just let us know about this episode. Like if you're listening, feel
Yeah.
free to send me like an email, and I'll make sure that Jasmine knows about it. If you have a question for her, I can relay that as well. So I really want you to like, especially in this season, that we all need some help. We all need some encouragement, and I hope that this episode provides that. So again, thank you, Jasmine, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for all of our listeners and people that watch us on YouTube. And again, just till the next episode, I want you to continue to be well and be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this informative journey. The content of this podcast is solely the professional opinion of the host for informational purposes only. It should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're experiencing any health issues or concerns, we strongly recommend that you seek the counsel of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes.